Flow into gratitude as you watch, because one of the most expensive mistakes people make in life is spending all their energy fighting symptoms while protecting the root that created them. And this happens everywhere. It happens in money, it happens in relationships, it happens in health, it happens in business, it happens in ambition, and it happens inside the mind itself, because the human tendency is to attack what is visible while ignoring what is generating the visible. And that is why so many problems seem immortal. They are not being solved, they are being managed. And there is a massive difference between management and elimination, because management treats the branches while elimination uproots the tree. And if there is one driving force capable of transforming an entire life, it is developing the ability to identify the root beneath the appearance, because every financial problem has a root, every emotional problem has a root, every recurring pattern has a root, and until the root is addressed, the problem simply changes its costume and returns under a different name. And nowhere is this more obvious than money, because people believe their problem is lack of income, but often the deeper problem is lack of focus, lack of skill development, lack of patience, lack of long-term thinking, lack of financial literacy, or lack of disciplined attention. And when those roots remain untouched, even larger incomes eventually disappear, because money amplifies existing patterns more often than it changes them. And this is why some people repeatedly rebuild after setbacks while others repeatedly recreate the setbacks themselves, because one person is working on outcomes while the other is working on causes, and causes always possess more power than outcomes, because causes create outcomes automatically. And if you study any extraordinary transformation, whether financial, personal, intellectual, or professional, you will find the same hidden principle operating beneath it. Someone stopped asking what is happening and started asking why it keeps happening, and that question changes everything, because the moment attention moves from symptoms to roots, the entire game changes. Now you are no longer reacting, now you are investigating, now you are no longer trapped in side effects, now you are tracing causes. And causes are where leverage exists, because a single root can produce thousands of consequences, while a single consequence reveals only one expression of the root. And this is why gratitude becomes unexpectedly powerful, because gratitude slows the mind enough to observe reality without immediate reaction. And observation is necessary for root cause awareness, because a mind consumed by urgency sees only emergencies, while a clear mind sees patterns, and patterns reveal origins, and origins reveal solutions. And maybe this is the deepest financial insight of all, that wealth itself is often the result of solving root problems at scale, because the greatest businesses, the greatest innovations, and the greatest opportunities rarely treat symptoms. They remove friction at the source, they eliminate inefficiencies at the source, they simplify complexity at the source, and because they solve the root, they create value that compounds over time. And perhaps the same principle applies to life itself, because the quality of your future may depend less on how many problems you fight and more on how many roots you are willing to uncover, because once the root is removed, the branches no longer require your attention, and energy that was once spent surviving becomes available for building. And when that happens, progress stops feeling like struggle and starts feeling like inevitability.